Hey everybody, Canuckman100 here. So for any of you who have subscribed to me or are subscribed to me, I don't have too many subscribers. Anyway, you'll know that I have been away from my channel for a long time. I haven't posted a video like this of me actually predicting the playoffs or whatever for over 2 years, and so I'm pretty excited to be back. I'm not too proud of my username anymore. I made it a couple of years ago. You know, nothing I can do about it now. That's okay. Anyway, I am back, for now at least, and I'm here today to bring you my 2014 NHL playoff predictions first round. So we're going to see how this goes, and you know, if you don't agree with me, that is totally fine. I'm making a couple bold predictions today. I'm going with some obvious ones, maybe to lots, but you know, we'll see. I'm curious to see what you guys think. So we'll start in the East, and we'll start with the first round matchup. The Boston Bruins versus the Detroit Red Wings, and this is going to be very cool. This is going to be a very cool matchup. Two original 6 teams, Boston Bruins, Detroit Red Wings. Because of the whole switch up with the standings, or not the standings, but the conference switch up, this matchup wouldn't have been possible in previous years. So this is definitely something very cool. So some key points in this series. Boston, of course, is playing absolutely awesome. They have played great this year. And, you know, with a team that does so well, you think eventually they're going to, you know, show signs of getting older or slowing down. But that is not the case with Boston. Boston, for the past 5 years, has been a solid team in the East, and they continue to keep that trend going, and it is not going down. So, Boston's playing great. But you know what? They're up against a hard team, and if any team is here to upset a possible cup contender, Detroit could very well do that. But on that note, Detroit has some key players injured, and that could definitely put them in the hole for a bit. They have Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg, both injured right now. Who knows if they'll come back sometime in the playoffs, but that definitely puts a twist on it. And, you know, if you bring it down to the goalies, Boston obviously has the better goalie. So, you know, this series, although Detroit could and has proven to upset strong teams in the past, you have just got to pick Boston in this. I'm going to pick Boston in this series, and I'm going to pick them in 6 games. Boston in 6. We're going to move on here. Montreal versus Tampa Bay. This one is tough for me because I like Tampa Bay. I really do. I've always liked them for the past quite a few years. I've always thought that they're a cup contender, even though lots of people disagree with me. And this is a very hard decision for me to not be biased towards Tampa Bay. I'm not a fan of them, but, you know, like, I'm not a fan of the team, but I do like their style of play. But having said that, Montreal has the better goalie in Price. Not only that, but Tampa Bay's main goalie right now is actually out of the lineup, which really hurts them. Bishop is out, and they have to resort to Lindback, who has a noticeable step down in terms of save percentage and goals against versus Bishop, which is a big knock in the head for Tampa Bay. That is not good. So the question really is like Stamkos can he really carry the team? And it's going to be very hard with a goalie like Carey Price to just carry your team. Tampa Bay, who obviously has a couple bullets right now in the side with their goalie injured, and so as much as I would like to pick Tampa Bay in this one, and it is going to be a tight series, I'm gonna have to give the slight edge to Montreal. I'm gonna say Montreal in 7, and that is hard for me to say, but I'm gonna say it. And moving on to Pittsburgh and Columbus. Now, this is an interesting series because Pittsburgh has had tons of playoff experience in the past 5 years. Columbus has had absolutely none. Columbus hasn't been to the playoffs since, I don't know, 2007 or 8, maybe 2009. I can't completely remember. But nonetheless, they don't have any experience. So lots of people are going to say Pittsburgh in this one. It totally makes sense, and I completely understand. But having said that, Columbus is they have been working hard this season, and their work ethic overall is just, I'm very impressed by it. And although they don't have any standout superstars on this team, they could definitely give Pittsburgh a run for their money. Having said that, Pittsburgh has powerhouse forwards, Crosby, Malkin, all those people are powerhouse forwards for Pittsburgh, and Marc-Andre Fleury has had his best season in terms of save percentage and since 2009, which was the last year that Pittsburgh won the Cup. So Pittsburgh, there are some doubts, of course, with Pittsburgh. They're getting older. Their average age now is 29. But you really have to pick Pittsburgh in this. As much as I like Columbus, and I would love for Columbus to come out with the win, you have to pick Pittsburgh. And I'm going to pick Pittsburgh to win this one. And I'm going to say in 4 games, Columbus could knock out a few, but I'm thinking if Pittsburgh gets a couple for Columbus, they're just going to keep ringing. If Columbus has any chance of winning this, they're going to win it in 7, and it's going to be super tight, but I personally don't see it happening. So I'm going to say Pittsburgh in 4. Now we'll move on to the New York Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. A very, very interesting series once again. And some things that are going to make this series hard is that... So here, I'll go over some key points. The Philadelphia Flyers, although lots of their fans like to think that they are still... they're not the same team that they were 4 years ago when they were in the finals in 2010. They just aren't. And they just are not the same team that they were in 2010. Players have changed, they've traded people, and so that's... And on the other hand, the New York Rangers, with a goalie like Henrik Lundqvist, are gonna give Philly a major run for their money. Now, on the other hand, the New York Rangers offense is considered by many to have underperformed this season, especially Rick Nash. So if the New York Rangers really want to come up with the win, Rick Nash has got to step it up, and that is something that's their problem. They're going to have to work on that. But obviously, in this series, Lundqvist outshines in the goaltender race. So I want to pick Philly. I do like Philly. They went to the Cup Finals 4 years ago, and it came also close to beating Chicago, who I strongly dislike, just personally. But anyway, as much as I want the Flyers to win, I'm gonna have to give this to New York, and it's gonna be very tight. And I'm sorry, Flyers fans. I know you're passionate about your team, and I would love to pick the Flyers, but I'm gonna have to go with the New York Rangers, and it's gonna be in Game 7. It's gonna be tight. I hope I'm right, because if I'm wrong, well, what can you do? But yeah, I'm going to pick the Rangers in 7 for this one. Alright, and now moving on to the Western Conference. And very quickly, let me announce, I was surprised this season. My team is not in the playoffs, as it reflects in the username. Vancouver blew it after the Olympic break. They fell down all the way to 12th place, and, I kind of saw it coming, but at the same time, I really didn't, from a team like Vancouver, who was in the Cup Finals just 3 years ago. But Vancouver's not in, which actually, in some terms, is good for me, because it means I'm not going to be biased at all when making these predictions. Not to say I was biased before, but, it's hard to not be biased when you have such a passion for a team. And so, I'm not going to be biased with the Western Conference, and hopefully that will win you guys over a bit. For people that don't like people being biased, and I'm with that as well. I don't like to be biased. Anyway, moving on. First series, Anaheim versus the Dallas Stars. And this is going to be an interesting series. Right off the bat, Dallas, as we all know, has got a bad first round opposition. Anaheim has played amazing this year, just like Boston. They have surprised a lot of people, and they're sitting in first right now in the West. They are a solid team, and if I was Dallas, I would not want to be playing with them. On the other hand, Dallas could surprise a lot of people with their forwards like Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn, who have proven to be successful this season in particular, and that could surprise a few people. On the other hand, Anaheim has got the better goalie or goalies. They have Hiller and Anderson and Gibson, who are the backups. Gibson's only played 2 games, but he's won both those games, and he's had a solid 960-something save percentage, which is amazing for a second backup goalie. In the end, I'm going to have to pick Anaheim in this one. It's an obvious choice. They're going to come out with the win, and they're going to do this. They're going to defeat the Dallas Stars in 5 games. All right, moving on to the San Jose Sharks. Couldn't decide if I wanted to say San Jose or just the Sharks. San Jose Sharks and the LA Kings started off, I'm going to say it, I know lots of you don't want to hear it, but the Sharks are getting old. I'm sorry, but it's true. The Sharks, no longer are they in their prime. They do have experience, which could possibly bring them back up to a closer, being a contender for the Cup. They are not in their prime in terms of skill. They are slowly but surely starting to go down. And LA, I wouldn't say they're in their prime either, but the Kings have got the better goalie in this one. They have Jonathan Quick. He brought them to the Cup final 2 years ago. He is proving to be a very good goalie in the playoffs. But the Sharks do have the offense in this one. They have the Marlowe, Pavelski, Thornton trio, obviously, and that takes over LA's offense. In the end, although a very hard decision for me to make, and I know lots of people are probably going to disagree with me on this one, that is okay, but I'm not going to put my faith in the Sharks this time around, as I have a couple times and they've disappointed me. I'm going to go with the Kings in 7 in this one. Alright, moving on to Colorado in Minnesota. And I've got a lot of good things to say about this Colorado team because I have been surprised. Colorado, although they have no experience, they are young, they have a good coach, they have a solid goalie, and they have done a complete turnaround this season from last season. Minnesota, on the other hand, they didn't really do a complete rebuild over these past few years. They've kind of just added a couple key players, gotten rid of a couple key players, and they're sitting in that bubble spot. We're not sure they could be a threat, but we don't really know. In this series, one of the key things that both teams, if they want to win this series, whatever team decides to step up the defense is going to win. The team with the better defense is going to win because, quite personally, both these teams it's going to be a tight series, and both these teams have a very good chance of winning. In the end, I'm going to have to give it to Colorado. Although with no experience, they've had a solid season this year, and you just can't doubt that they're going to get past at least the first round. So I'm going to pick Colorado to beat Minnesota in 6 in this one. Finally, moving on to the last series in the West, the St. Louis Blues versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, at the beginning of the year, although I didn't announce this on YouTube, I predicted the St. Louis Blues to win the Cup. This was back in September, and sure enough, before I even saw EA's sports predictions, they also predicted the St. Louis Blues to win the Cup, which surprised me personally because lots of times some people don't agree with me, which I don't blame because sometimes I make bold picks. But I picked St. Louis, so did EA, and I'm going to stick with that in this series, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, first of all, obviously, St. Louis is not looking good right now. They've lost 6 in a row, and they have a couple key players injured, which really isn't good. But they have picked up Ryan Miller. from the Sabres. The Sabres, obviously a horrible season. They didn't even get first-round draft pick, which I found out tonight. It went to the Florida Panthers, which really sucks for the Sabres. But, the draft is good this year. Maybe it won't be that bad. Anyway, moving on. They got Ryan Miller from the Sabres. This is a huge level up for St. Louis in goaltending. And although they have a couple key players injured, the chances are they're going to come back sometime in this series, hopefully earlier, to help my case out. And I really do have faith in this young St. Louis team. Chicago, though, obviously is going to be a very tough team to get by. They have experience. They have solid offense in Sharp, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, the triple trio, just like San Jose. As always, a defending Cup champion. This team, if St. Louis can get by Chicago, I personally believe that they can win the Cup. If Chicago beats St. Louis, I'll be surprised, but at the same time I won't, because Chicago's defending Cup champion. They've won 2 Cups in the last 3 years, and they have proven to be the team of the past decade, or either that or Detroit. Chicago has been very solid as of late, but I do have faith in the Blues. I'm taking a huge risk in this one, but I'm going to pick the St. Louis Blues over the defending Cup champions in 7 games. And I could very well be wrong, but, sometimes you got to take risks, see if they work out. Alright, that's all I got for you today. If I could close with one little comment here that I have to say, and this is on behalf of all the prediction videos. For all you people watching my videos, or my video right now, that don't necessarily agree with my predictions, that is totally cool. I totally understand, but what I would rather you do is, instead of expressing your hate in a dislike of the video, just comment. Simply comment and tell me why you disagree with some of my predictions. I totally want to hear it. I just don't like the aspect of disliking a whole video because you disagree with someone's predictions. I've worked hard on this video. Other people have worked hard on their predictions. Unless you really don't like, like me as a person or the video that I've made, don't dislike the video. Just comment on why you disagree, because, quite frankly, I would rather have a bunch of comments hating on me than have 20 dislikes on the video and 1 like on the video. And, not that I really care a bunch about all this stuff, but it'd just be nice. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. This has been Canuckman 100. I will be back for you soon with the second round predictions. I hope you like my predictions. If not, leave a comment. Tell me why you disagree. Thank you for watching. I will talk to you soon.